So the draft process can be long, and I know by the time the combine and all-star games and pro days are past, people are just tired of the mock drafts, the rankings and whatnot. Me, myself, I can agree on that. But what I like to do once it gets to this time of the process, I like to look for undiscovered, under the radar type of prospects that have not been getting a lot of shine, whether they're going to a small school, they faced an injury, they have a unique story, or they just are unheard of or missed somehow. But there's a lot of guys that just fall through the cracks at times, and then they make it to the next level, and we're like, where did they come from? How did they go undrafted? How did they go so late in the draft? Or who missed this? And so in this video today, I'm going to try to make a list of all the guys that I think could be those type of guys that completely are flying under the radar that nobody is talking about right now, that can make a impact on the next level at some point. It may not be from the jump, but if they get their fair opportunity, they could make something happen. But before we get too deep in, if you're new to the channel, my name is Aaron Duncan with the Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk. I do recap and analysis of the Panthers and the NFL draft, so subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date on that type of content and videos just like this, because this is a fun exercise to do. I got a handful of guys. If you heard of them before, let me know down below in the comments, and be sure to watch all the way to the end to let me know if I missed any sleepers that you may know of that I should go back and do some more digging on. The first underrated prospect we're going to talk about is Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt, running back out of the University of Arizona. Now, if you haven't heard of this guy, it's probably because he only played one game this season for the Arizona Wildcats. He has one of the craziest stories. Now, listen up to this. He was a zero-star recruit coming out of high school, and he ended up going to Alabama State, where over the 4 years he was there, he rushed for over 1,200 yards, but never really had a super productive year. Ended up hitting the transfer portal, of course, because he had some extra years with the COVID years and stuff like that, and he ended up transferring to New Mexico. All he did at New Mexico in 2023 was have a breakout year with 189 carries, 1,190 yards, and 17 touchdowns. And after that season, he wanted to decide to transfer again. And with that, he transferred to Arizona. But like I said, he only played one game because of some eligibility issues from some of the classes that he took back at Alabama State really didn't carry over. So he was ineligible to play after that first game. In that first game, he played against his former team, New Mexico. He had 13 carries, 106 yards, and 1 touchdown. Just a great revenge game. But of course, like I said, that was the only game he was able to play in 2024. But he did not let that deter him because of what he had accomplished. He ended up getting a shot at the all-star circuit, played in the East-West Shrine game, and ended up totaling over 90 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns, having a great week of practice as well. Really put him back on the map to give him a chance to shine, since he had fresh legs probably from being, 12, 13, 14 weeks off during the regular season. Not only that, he ended up going to the Big 12 Combine recently and had the fastest 40-yard dash and highest vertical for the running back position with a 4.45 40 and a 41-inch vert. This is showing the explosiveness that he has. Yes, he's an older prospect because of all the times that he had in college. Of course, he will be 24 by the time the draft comes on. But of course, the mileage is low because he didn't get a ton of burn in Alabama State those first 4 years. And of course, he took pretty much a full season off at Arizona. His game is predicated on just a little bit ruggedness. He's 5'11", 208 pounds. He makes guys miss in such a weird way on the second level. It's not just a shimmy that he gives. He just continues to slither and slash through the second level. He has great second level vision to make guys miss. One of the highest missed tackles force rates in 2023 when he played actually on the field, which would have been in the top 90th percentile in that class coming out. So this guy, he's able to make things happen, and he can really move. He'll be fitted best for an inside zone type of team. That way he can hit one cut and go. That way you kind of take the indecision out of him, let him get downhill behind those pass, and once he gets to the second level, just let the good Lord do what he blessed him with. But I'm really like Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt, man. This guy, of course, the determination is going to be there. He's been in college for 6 years, faced some adversity with the eligibility issues, but still put in the work to have a good showing at the combine. I like betting on these type of underdog guys. And in the NFL, you can find running backs anywhere. This guy has probably going to make himself a early day 3 pick with the testing and just the production that he's had. I'm excited to see where this guy lands out. Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt is a sleeper in this draft. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball for our next sleeper, and that's going to be Quandarius Robinson, edge rusher out of the University of Alabama. Now, how does somebody from the University of Alabama qualify as a sleeper? Well, this guy really didn't get a ton of playing time until his last year at Alabama. When you get stuck behind guys like Will Anderson and Dallas Turner, things happen. You know what I'm saying? But kudos to him for sticking it out in the age of the transfer portal and NIL. This guy hung around, stuck it out, waited for his opportunity. But even waiting for his opportunity, he still didn't get a ton of PT as a senior, which was kind of weird. But eventually, he ended up hurting his wrist and ended up having surgery on that arm in that season. So he missed a good chunk of the year, but you could tell the difference on that Alabama defense when Q Robinson was in the game and when he was not in the game. In that final year, he only ended up with 3 sacks, but he only had just over 100 pass rush attempts, but he had one of the highest pass rush win rates in the country at 24%, which is 95th percentile for this class. So just when he had the opportunity to get after it on the edge, he can do that. He's a core 4 special teams player as well. Nick Saban has been on the record saying that this was one of the best specialist players that he had over his whole tenure at Alabama. So high praise from the great Nick Saban for Q Robinson. Q Robinson has a great first step, super athletic edge rusher. He's 6'4", 245, flashes a great long arm and underrated power even for a guy at 6'4", with great length in the arm. So the ability to probably add a little bit more weight when you look at his waist and his trunk size, he's pretty slim there. So he has that frame to be able to add more weight on that. He wins a lot with speed, and he's going to be a developmental guy that you'll probably be able to get early day 3. I wouldn't be shocked to see him sneak into the top 100 just because the traits are traity for sure if you're into that type of stuff. But Q Robinson is a guy that I really, really like on day 3. I'm hoping he goes to my team. He's going to be a 3-4 outside linebacker. He shows some flashes of being able to play off-ball linebacker in the box. He did that sometimes against Tennessee just because obviously their offense is so weird, but you see it there. He blitzes from different spots across the field as well, inside, outside. These are the type of guys that you bet on and you develop. When you have that early power and that length, you flash that long arm, that's traits that are attractive to coaches and scouts in the NFL. So I figure that Quay Robinson will have a role. And of course, special teams is going to be an easy way to make a roster and get on the field right away. These are the type of guys that you bet on when they stay loyal, stay committed to the grind at Alabama, and wait for their opportunity. He'll be rewarded by being a day 3 pick. Q Robinson out of Alabama is one of the sleepers that I like on the defensive side of the football. All right, y'all, let's be real. Nobody wants to be the funky friend out of the group. Whether you're in the gym, at work, or just living life, staying fresh matters. That's why I got to put you on to my sponsor of the video, Mando, the all-over deodorant that keeps you smelling clean everywhere. I've been using this solid stick deodorant, and listen, this stuff just simply works, man. Whether I'm sweating through a heated debate on Twitter, talking about the Panthers, or just dealing with this humid weather that's going on here in the South as things start to warm up, Mando just keeps me fresh without overpowering or an artificial scent. And the best part, it's not just for your pits. You can use it anywhere you sweat. Chest, back, thighs, shoulders, chest, pants, shoes. I mean, wherever. Even down there, you know what I'm talking about? No irritation and all-day freshness, up to 72 hours of protection. Right now, Mando Starter Pack is the best way to try it all. You get a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free extras like the mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Plus, for my people, you're going to get $5 off when you use Bluntness Sports at checkout. That's over 40% off your starter pack order. So hit up shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com and support the show while keeping yourself fresh from head to toe. Trust me, your future self and everybody around you will thank you. Let's switch back to the offense for our next sleeper. And this one, we're going to go up north to the University of Syracuse. We're going to go with Orandre Gadsden, the second tight end, like I said, from Syracuse. Now, this guy is a wide receiver who converted to tight end back in 2022. He weighed in at about 245 pounds at the East-West Shrine game, so already adding some size to his frame to try to be a tight end from converting there. This guy is 6'4", like I said, 245 pounds with 33-inch arms. So the length and the frame is there to be able to have a large catch radius. You can split him out to a single wide receiver, put him in a slot, put him at the wing, put him at an H-back, throw him in the backfield if you want to. He has that versatility just because of his background as a wide receiver. And even singled up as a wide receiver, man, he could be a problem beating corners, especially against linebackers, because he has pretty good route running for a wide receiver. And so when you're a pretty good route runner as a receiver, that suddenness does nothing but transfer over to a tight end when you have guys like safeties and linebackers who aren't used to going against guys who are as precise of route runners. Of course, when you convert, it's going to be a process of getting used to the level of physicality that comes with playing in the box. And he still has a receiver mindset because he does a good job of body position and just walling guys off. And he likes to kind of stalk block. But at tight end, you got to get used to using your helmet, your shoulder pads, and being physical and kind of sticking your nose in there in terms of blocking in the running game. So that's going to be a chance for him to grow there. But I think from the jump, he can be a match-up problem and be an asset in the red zone. He can get down the field as well because of his large strides. This guy has been uber productive. Again, he converted to a tight end in his first year doing that. He went all ACC and had over 900 yards receiving. In 2023, he ended up having Liz Frank surgery and only played 2 games, but he came back last year in 2024, showed he was fully healthy, was third team All-American tight end, first team ACC, had over 900 yards receiving, and broke almost every tight end ACC record that there is out there. Had over 5 100-yard games as a tight end. You got to love production. This guy gives you that mindset of that diet Kyle Pitts, the little bit of a awkwardness of running routes of an Evan Ingram at that, an athlete that doesn't really do a ton blocking, but brings a lot in the receiving game. The Darren Waller type of guys, you know what I'm saying? So I really love this potential upside. And once he kind of gets things together and he's able to kind of get that physicality down, man, I think the upside for this guy is amazing. I like betting on these type of guys. He's a son of a former pro. Arondre Gatson actually played for the Miami Dolphins, and Dan Marino's final touchdown pass of his career went to Arondre Gatson the first. So you know this guy has the pedigree. He's going to be able to come in there, be a pro's pro. I love this guy's game, just watching him on tape and what he's able to do. I'm betting on Arondre Gatson's upside as a receiver, his ability to create mismatches because of that wide receiver background. The next sleeper on this, we're going to go to the MAC. Of course, we're going to have a linebacker, and that's going to be Sean Dolek from Buffalo University. Yes, this guy, man, one of the most lunch pail, whatever you want to call guys, hard-nosed, hard-working, keep your head down, no combine invite, no all-star games, just a straight ball player, man. This guy had 126 tackles, 76 stops, and 5 picks this year. Really lit up the stat sheet. I'm not sure how this guy did not make an all-star game at least. He has excellent instincts, man, and intelligence that you love to see in linebackers. He looks like Luke Kuechly out there on a small MAC level. He's pointing guys, telling them where to go, running sideline to sideline. You can see what he lacks in athleticism, what you see on tape, he makes up with just being there quickly because of those instincts. So when you see linebackers feel like they're moving faster than guys, or they always have a jump or always in position, that's because their instinct, they're able to read their keys, they're able to diagnose, and that's Sean Dolek's game. He'll probably be drafted somewhere late, but at worst, he's going to be a special teams asset. I think I have a little bit of concerns, like I said, about his athleticism. He tested very, very well, though. I mean, I thought that on tape, he could get juked out of his shoes a few times and come into balance. His hips were a little bit stiff, but he went to his pro day and he lit it up. Listen to this. This guy had a 4.55 40-yard dash, 25 reps on the bench, a 35.5-inch vert, a 4.21 shuttle, and a 6.9 4.3 cone, man. This dude's a sideline to sideline linebacker, man. I'm just impressed by the testing numbers that he was able to put up, and he really lit it up. When you see a guy at these small schools, you want to see them dominate and handle the competition level. That way it gives you say, okay, hey, if he's dominating at the small level, he may be able to make that adjustment when he comes up there. Because, of course, I was nervous, but even at 6 feet, 223, I'm betting on these type of guys because, like I said, at worst, he'll be a special teams ace for you and a guy that's going to put in the work. You see, he's a workout warrior, man. He was a walk-on originally for these guys, so he ended up developing into one of the best players in the country, man. I feel proud of him. I don't even know this dude, but when you see these type of stories, I have to respect and give them their flowers. So I think Sean Dolek is one of the sleepers in this draft. Look out for this guy being able to be a day 3 pick, going from undrafted, probably potentially, or a 7th round pick to being a late day 3 guy because of what he did in the pro day, and the film and the production backs everything up. The next sleeper I have is Ricky White III, wide receiver out of UNLV. Now, Ricky White is interesting because he did get a combine invite. He was a very, very productive wide receiver that has some speed and put up back-to-back 1,000-yard years at the University of Las Vegas. He ran a 4.6 at the combine, which was very, very disappointing for me as a big Ricky White Hive member, but it really took me back to look at some of his film because he's very, very explosive on tape. So I just didn't think the 40 matched up well. I think he just ran bad. Ended up coming back to his pro day, running in the 4.4 range. Obviously, it's a pro day, but it lets you know that he's definitely not a 4.6 guy like we thought. Regardless, I like Ricky White just because he's able to do it all. He can get deep. He can run from the slot. He can go in motion. He can get yards after catch. He's going to have to get used to some physicality that comes with playing in man coverage because he's so slim and slender. His game kind of reminds me of Robbie Anderson with a little less of speed, in my opinion, and a little bit more yak ability, explosiveness. That makes sense because Robbie was more of a get behind the secondary, but the movement style, the build, very, very, very Robbie Anderson-esque. Like I said, he's slim in stature, didn't test the best, but he's still a slick player with sneaky upside. Again, special teams value is what I like. This guy, crazy enough, he blocked 4 punts this year and won Special Team Conference Player of the Year. Yes, 4 punts in one season. This year, the #1 wide receiver on UNLV, blocking 4 punts on special teams. That alone is going to get him on a roster and probably make him a day 3 pick. We'll know what goes on after that because this wide receiver class is a little bit iffy. So being able to bring that type of value to the team as well, it's going to do nothing but help your odds of making a roster and getting picked very, very early in that day 3 range. But being able to affect both sides of the ball in terms of special teams and offense is always going to catch my eye. I'm a sucker for these special teams guys, especially when they're one of the better players on their team. So I love those type of guys that take one for the team. Ricky White, I think, is going to shock some people. And finally, my last sleeper is Brashard Smith, running back out of SMU. Now, he's an interesting story because he was a transfer like everybody else that's coming out of here, but he started at the University of Miami playing wide receiver, transferred to SMU, and converted to a running back. All he did was rush for 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, had 300 yards receiving, and 4 more touchdowns in the air. This guy's able to return kickoffs as well, man. At the Senior Bowl, he was borderline unguardable. He was a big part of why SMU was able to have the progress and make it to the playoff this year for the first time in the ACC conference. Just a guy that's able to make plays. He lit it up at the combine with 4.39 speed. His route running as a former wide receiver is going to be a huge asset for any team. And from day one, he's going to be able to return kicks and be a matchup problem out of the backfield. Think about a guy like Sean Payton, who loves having those type of running backs that have had Darren Sproles or Alvin Kamara early on, that you get them singled up underneath coverage against linebackers. He's able to run away from them on those choice routes. That's Brashard Smith's game right away. As he continues to grow, he'll be able to make progress as a running back. Sometimes he runs a little bit too high, and as somebody myself that converted from receiver to running back, I know that you have to get used to not being able to run with your chest up. You got to run lower. That way you're not able to get got by shoulder pass. You also see that his vision can be a little spotty, but it got better as the year went on, as he got more carries, because things happen fast as a running back compared to wide receiver. So you have to be able to hit holes fast, not hesitate, but also anticipate how the offense is flowing all a lot at the same time. But the more carries you get, the better. We already saw a proof of concept of this with Tyrone Tracy last year, who had 1 year at running back with Purdue after transfer, changing positions at wide receiver. And he ended up having a great rookie year for the Giants when he ended up getting his shot. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a guy like Brashard Smith, who's a lot more explosive than him, make an early impact because he brings a lot to the passing game as a route runner. You can run him out of routes under the backfield. He has tape of him motioning out of the backfield and getting head tops on corners. That's the type of playmaker this guy is, man. I really hope that my favorite team, the Panthers, takes him. But regardless of where he goes, I think this guy has a chance to be one of the underrated backs in this class. And the more carries he gets, the better he's going to be, because as a running back, You have to be able to see those zone plays more often and just know where the things hit, know where defenses flow, know where guys are going to be on certain cuts and stuff. And the more reps you get, the more times you see it, the better you'll be. And so I think as he gets more shots at the goal or hits at the plate, whatever you want to call it, Brashard Smith is going to be a guy that I really like. He's one of my guys in this draft class. Brashard Smith, bet on him. But you guys let me know down below in the comments which one of these guys probably is most fascinating to you. And let me know if any sleepers that you know about that I might have missed that I should go look into. Maybe I'll do another part of this video as I continue to dig on the more sleepers and bring you guys some more. So let me know if you want to see more sleeper prospect videos. But without further ado, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. My name is Aaron Duncan with the Necessary Blunt Sports Talk. I'll see you next time. Peace.